Let's real quick before we get to our next review. The Sound of One Man Laughing has an interesting question. If you want to answer on this stream, why do so many people spend so much time commenting on Disney, Marvel, Star Wars products that they do not like? I have an answer for that, actually. I will answer that question, and that's because it gets a lot of clicks. If you look at the Film Threat YouTube channel, you'll notice we've got like 25,000 plus subscribers currently. You'll look at all the videos, and we get like, a couple hundred, clicks or, views, or, some of our videos do blow up to like a few thousand, which we do appreciate. But talking about Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, and whatnot, that gets a lot of attention. It's the thing that most normal people, normies, as they're called, the mainstream, it's a lot of people know about it. So it's a point of reference. Everyone can discuss it. I also think that all of those brands are on the decline. And I think that there are a lot of people very dissatisfied with something they grew up loving, whether it be Marvel Comics like myself or Star Wars. I also grew up with that. I'm sure everyone here has some experience with Disney, Marvel, Star Wars et al. We've all had some experience with it, so it's a single point of reference. And we've now seen these brands kind of decline where they are, in my opinion, catering towards a small percentage of the audience that didn't really care about these products to begin with. So that's my personal feeling. And if we do a video that's like that, it'll get more clicks. I feel like there are other people doing those kinds of videos right now, and they do it better than Film Threat. So I'm happy to. Sometimes I appear on other YouTube channels where I talk about those kinds of things. That's not the purpose of Film Threat. Our purpose and our mission is to support independent film. So we don't really talk about those topics too often on this channel. I mean, if they release a new Marvel movie, we'll talk about it. And we've done that, or a new Star Wars movie. If a new one comes out, we'll talk about that thing. But the general discussion of talking about how much we don't like it, I don't think that's productive after a while. I feel like I would be very depressed as a person if that's the only thing we talked about were those kinds of things, because the thing that keeps me sane is seeing independent film, seeing a movie like Hatched, or a film like We Met in Virtual Reality, or these small indie movies. It gives me hope. It's like having my creative energy like regenerated like batteries every year. Like Sundance is a reminder that, hey, you don't have to just only watch these types of films. You don't only even have to pursue Disney, Marvel, Star Wars as a movie you'd like to make. You can tell a story about anything. So I am of the opinion that like, keeping a balanced media diet, sure, watch your mainstream movies that are at the theater. At the same time, if you balance that with independent films as part of your complete media breakfast, you will not be as sad at the current state of Hollywood, which I think is garbage. I think most movies in Hollywood today are terrible. I think they're developed by less experienced people, where agenda trumps great storytelling. And it's disheartening to see Hollywood unravel. Hollywood every once in a while will make something like, oh, this is really compelling. This is interesting. The Sound of One Man Laughing also adds, all these products are bad, and they're all bad in the same way. It seems like they would be very little to say, but they talk about them for hours. I agree with you, but it's almost like, here's what my theory is, because I've been on some of those shows and I actually personally enjoy them. So I know what you're talking about, but it's almost a form of group therapy. We've taken something beloved. I discovered on YouTube, you can look this up. Someone created a 4K version of the original Rebel assault on the Death Star from Star Wars and restored it back to when it was seen in 1977. And I saw that first run in 1977. I was about 11 years old. I was a little kid, right? Blew my mind, right? I watched it on YouTube and it's recreated. I'm getting chills. This is the way it was originally presented. The sound mix isn't, changed from the special edition. The effects are not all digital. So I feel some of this is a form of group therapy. Additionally, I do believe that people in Hollywood are listening. I think that they're starting now to listen. There's an article, you can Google this. It's called Hollywood's New Rules, where it talks about, and Quentin Tarantino's been very vocal about this, about that agenda is now trumping storytelling and character. And I think that that's a bad thing. But I do think that part of the trend of YouTubers talking about these topics, of which I am one of those people, not on the Film Threat channel very often, but I am one of the people that will discuss this. I think it's a form of group therapy, because really there is no reason why the Star Wars sequels should have been as bad as they were. Why isn't the first thing you're thinking, you're sitting down, you're J.J. Abrams, you're going to write the Star Wars sequels, the number one thing that has to happen is Luke, Han, and Leia have to reunite. They have to reunite in some form. They may only be in the first movie of the Star Wars sequels, hand it off. But the fact that those actors were alive when they made that movie and they didn't do that, I think is absolutely fucking criminal. And I think it's awful. So anyways, The Sound of One Man Laughing, thank you for creating this as a topic here. I wish people talked about things they liked, as Film Threat does. We do a balance with that. So thank you for that comment there. We do a balance. We do a balance of, we talk about things we like, but Alan and I, we got into discuss. Actually, we debated. I hated the last, the Matrix 4.
Yeah, that's our biggest video that we've done is the Matrix.
Well, recently is over.
Speaking of big properties and why they attracted so many people.
Well, it deserved all the hate. But yeah, I mean, I try to be, I'm a glass half full guy. So I'm very, and interesting deleted scenes ad Resurrection, our last review, is a Blacklist script from 2019. So that's great. But yeah, the group therapy, I do think it's a form of group therapy. There's no reason why that they ruined Star Wars. I mean, in my mind's eye as a kid, I'm going to put myself full screen so I could, in my mind's eye as a kid, I made up Star Wars adventures in my mind, playing with action figures. Granted, I'm 12, 13, whatever. Through high school, in my mind's eye, I made up better stories than the sequels ended up being in my brain. And the long 3 years between when I discovered that the main protagonist, Luke Skywalker's father, was Darth Vader, and he had to basically kill his own father, the villain, at least in my head. I thought that's how you resolve that conflict. I was distraught. I mean, it was something I was obsessed about, read comics and novels and made up adventures. And I still have the die-cast model, not here, but the die-cast model of the Millennium Falcon that I got when I was a kid. And it's covered in dirt, and I've never cleaned it. Because the cool thing about Star Wars toys, we never kept them in the box when we were kids. We took them out and they got dirty and awful and whatever. And so my feeling is that much of the discussion around this on YouTube, I think, is useful because it's a form of group therapy, because you're seeing these franchises destroyed, whether it's Terminator or Star Wars or Star Trek. These franchises are being utterly gutted and destroyed right before our eyes, and the audiences that grew up loving these things is seeing them destroyed. And this is maybe a topic for another stream, but thank you for The Sound of One Man Laughing, and thank you, Funny Girl, I totally agree, feel the same way. Chad P. Crawford says, starting a slow clap. And Piers Bronson agreed, Star Wars sequels is incompetent mishandling of a cultural asset movie franchise, probably maybe the worst in our history. So I don't know. I just feel it's criminal, like what happened to Star Wars. So I'll end by just saying, contact us here at Film Threat, and you know what? Support us and buy something. You can wear a Film Threatist AF shirt.
I liken it to Disney going into your bedroom, your toy chest, grabbing all your toys and screwing around with them.